I recently started a new reading program with one of my kiddos, and I had never heard of the program that we started. I did a lot of research online trying to find different pieces, and it was really kind of tricky to dive in and see what was there. I came on YouTube trying to find some people's opinions on it, and there just wasn't a lot. So I am hoping to share this with you guys today to provide a little another type of look through of this curriculum. Our reading journey has been an interesting one. We did Logic of English, Foundations A and B. And when we got to B, I wasn't ready to move forward. I felt like we had to review. So we used a program called Phonics Pathways, and I have some videos here on that if you're interested. It was a great practice review workbook. I think we used it for about 8 months, and it is a fantastic resource. It was pretty much the only thing I was doing for teaching reading besides, just her reading to me. And I felt like it was really helpful. I saw her improve. I learned some things from it, and I felt like, her reading improved, her writing improved. However, we got to a point a couple months ago where there was just this dread because she didn't want to do it and I didn't really want to teach it. Maybe I wasn't doing a good job of giving it enough variety, but a lot of times if it doesn't tell you what to do for variety, sometimes you just don't think about it. So it kind of got to this place where we really needed to mix it up. I knew that we needed to kind of pivot in a different direction, and I wasn't sure what to do. I really did not want to spend another $150 to $200 on a fancy reading program. I looked into All About Reading, and I looked into like a Pinwheels program, which have great reputations, but I didn't want to spend that much money. Like, I already spent a lot of money on Logic of English, and I thought there's got to be something out there that I could, just to kind of get me to the end of the year is basically what I was saying. Give me something with some direction until we get to the end of the year. If you've seen my videos about how we do our language arts, I kind of added her in for our novel studies. And now looking back, I see that was me trying to spice up our lessons because the Phonics Pathways was just getting to this point where it was just kind of, blah. Trying to get through the lesson. So although I'm not really doing passage study with her anymore with the novels, she is still reading them with us, but we are just focusing on this reading program. Okay, so today I want to tell you a little bit about this, and I'm going to show you inside the books as well. This program is called ABeCeDarian, and it looks something like this, and it's really not that expensive. This is the teacher guide, and it was about $25. This is the student book, and it was $25. And then this is the book of fables that they're to read to you, and this was about $12. So with shipping and everything, $65, and I had this full-blown guided program that I thought, okay, we can at least just get to the end of the year with this. So that's what we did. What made me choose this program is I saw a video on YouTube, the one that I found, and a mom was sharing how her child was really struggling, and suddenly after they used this, the confidence level was just soaring, and her daughter was happily reading, and I thought, that's what I need. I need something to bring joy into reading because we're at this frustrated level with phonics, and I need to just kind of switch it up. So that and the cost was kind of what made me go with it. To give you kind of like a testimony about what it has done for us, we did the first unit and she read this to me, and I literally sobbed like a baby. It was such a gift to watch her read successfully and happily, and I was so proud of her. She's worked so hard, and I was just really happy with the progress that she made. So we are going to continue going through this. I'm not sure what I'll do as we get into the summertime, because I don't think we're gonna quite finish it yet. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to fit it in. But it has just been such a blessing, and for such a lower cost than the other things that I was looking at. I'm gonna show you all inside of this, but I do want to share a few more things with you. First, their website has some information about what it is. They're also connected to another site called Sharpen. It's a totally different name, but you buy your products through that site. And they also, the Sharpen name has a tutoring program, like an online tutoring program that uses this. So I don't know if because the ABeCeDarian website still exists, but you can't buy the products or anything. I don't know if Sharpen bought them, or they just kind of went, oh, I think it's formerly ABeCeDarian. So it's just kind of the old name. So when I link stuff down, try not to get confused by that. You can find information on both sites. You can find samples of the different books, and you can also find how to place your child in the different levels, like where they should be at. I don't know if I mentioned that. This is level B1. They also have, for their level A, they have their level A, but then they also have a quick level A. So if you're just oh, I don't know if I should skip to B or not, they have a quick A version. So I thought that was really neat. I almost did that, but the more and more I read the description of what they need for B, I really felt like my daughter was ready for that. So we ended up starting with B. Okay, so what else do I want to say before I start this? It feels like such an overwhelming new thing that I want to make sure and touch all the points. Okay, how do we do this? We do this 4 days a week, and I set a timer for about 20 to 25 minutes. It includes some flashcard review, some fluency tests, and everything is scripted for you here. I really enjoy that. I've learned so much from this program. It is so different from anything I've ever seen, and you're gonna see that as I go through kind of the startup guide and things like that. So I'm gonna show you inside here. I'm gonna show you inside the teacher guide what it looks like, and I'm also gonna show you what it looks like in the student guide. I'm really just gonna do a flip through of one unit because all of the units are kind of follow the same pattern. You'll see that it's a lot of different pieces, but because it follows a pattern, once you do it, you'll get the hang of it. I hope sharing all of this with you can kind of help you be comfortable if you are thinking about using it, because there was a lot of overwhelm when I got it. And the thing that helped me the most to start it was I went online to their resource page, and they had a not only paper resources that you can download, but they had videos that you could watch. And he had a 30-minute video of tutoring a child. And it helped me so much to sit there and watch him and his demeanor and how he did the lessons. Now, I will say that I was watching it and thinking, that's not in my unit. So there must be some updates or something. So there is that there. But it was so nice to see him and how he was with the students and what he did. And he would say things that it doesn't say in the book. And so I felt like that was really helpful to me. So if you do decide to do that, I would suggest to go and watch that video. You don't have to watch the whole thing. I didn't. I kind of skimmed through the different parts of the lessons, but it is really helpful to kind of watch it happen, because I think there really is a certain attitude and a certain flow that you have to have to go with this. And it was helpful to see him do that. I'm excited to share this with you. Let's dive in. This is the teacher guide. I keep these little flashcards clipped to it, and I have all kinds of stuff in here that I'll get to. But the front of the teacher guide is jam-packed with information, and what I really liked about it is right at the beginning, there is a quick start guide. It's so important that you read everything in here, but the fact that there was a quick start guide, it allowed me to kind of briefly read something and say, okay, we can start this tomorrow, and I can read the other stuff as I have time. So just kind of showing you this table of contents here. There are 12 units in this specific level. I don't think I mentioned that. This is level B1. And you can also see that the units really follow the same pattern. So once you kind of get the hang of the activities, it really becomes a lot easier to do. But I will say those first couple of units, it was kind of trying to get used to it. Okay, so in this quick start guide, there's a couple of things I want to point out. First, this, like I said, this is level B1. Students are ready for B1 when they are able to do these things. So that's really nice that that is there for you to know. I've highlighted a few things that I want to just point out to you. In level B1, your child will learn to blend and segment words with 5 sounds. She will master about 25 two-letter spellings. You should conduct lessons that are about 30 minutes long. I'm going to be honest, mine are usually 20 to 25 because that's about all we can do. Each unit targets 8 common words, and I'll show you that as we get to that. And let's see. The other thing that's interesting in here is it says many programs have extraneous talking that at best takes up valuable time without enhancing your instruction. It's important that you avoid using terms or concepts that are not presented in the script. So they don't want you to say stuff like long vowel, short vowel, silent E, bossy R, all of those phrases that are supposed to be like little memory tricks. He says, do not use them. I thought that was really interesting because we just recently came from a curriculum that used so many. All that your child needs to know is that letters represent sounds and what sound a particular letter or group of letters represents. Now, he does say in here, it is so important that you practice before you teach this. And I can totally get what he means by that. You really, really have to know what you're doing with these lessons because you want to do it in a fluid manner. These are the letters and sounds and high frequency words in this level. So it tells you right away the words that you're going to be working on. And then on the back side, these are the 2-syllable words in this level. So next is understanding the task. Now, I'm not going to go through this detail to detail, but this is what I mean by there is just so much in here for you to look at, which is why I love the Quick Start Guide. So I'm just going to briefly kind of flip through this so you can see this is going to be a lot of information for you to get to know, just like the parts of learning to read. It was very informational. If, you know, some of these things that you might hear before, but maybe you don't know what they are, just lots of good learning in that. All the activities and teaching routines you will use as you teach ABeCeDarian will be working quite directly to develop these skills and do so explicitly, precisely, and efficiently. The other thing I thought is good to point out is it says what is needed to help students who have been struggling to learn how to decode. So he's got some different things in here about students possibly with dyslexia or ADHD or some certain environmental factors, and gives you some information about that. And then once you read that, he does a full explanation for all of the activities. So this is what you're actually doing in your lessons. And he goes through each and every one, but I think it's going to be easier for me to just show you. But I just kind of want to show you how much stuff there is. He also makes a point about games and variations. You're not going to see a lot of like, you know, cutesy animal toy games, stuff like that. He says you should use games as an occasional activity. The most important point to realize when trying to make your lessons enjoyable is that the biggest reward isn't to make the lessons fun per se, but to make them so that your child makes excellent progress. This achievement is the most powerful as well as the most suitable motivation. Now, I know that sounds kind of harsh, but I'm not going to lie. The first unit we did, my daughter read a story to me and like I was in tears. And she was so excited that she read it. She felt so good. Like it really is true. Like when they have that success, that reward is so amazing. Okay, so that was all the activities. You can see how he breaks down these words here in the different units. Now we have key features. So we still haven't even gotten to the lessons yet, but take a look at this. This is some of the things you will do. Help your child develop phonemic proficiency, present letters organized according to sound, have a script to allow you to conduct the lessons. You will learn how to correct your child's errors. This was new to me. I do a lot of things like, hey, try again. And he kind of says to do it a little bit differently. So that was kind of a new thing for me to learn. Let's see what you won't teach in ABeCEDarian. You won't refer to long and short vowels. You won't teach sight words. It says most phonics programs suggest that because of the unusual letter sound correspondences in these words, students should learn them as wholes without spelling them out. But you're not going to do that. You are actually going to break them apart, and he shows how to do that. I'm sorry for the shaking. You will be presented with phonics information in your lessons, organized by sound. Your child will be sorting ways to spell each vowel sound. You will not need to provide any special category to explain the spelling of these words. So I thought that was interesting. You won't teach silent letters. This is kind of how he does that, and I'll show you that. So now we're getting ready. Like I said, tons of stuff. How to pronounce sounds, how to correct errors, dialect, 2 important principles. Then there's a section on how to provide additional practice and setting up a good schedule. I like how he breaks this down. He really kind of tells you how long it's going to take to do a unit and a couple different scheduling options. Okay, so here is some prep stuff for starting the program. Buy the booklet, review the error correction, watch the error correction, read through a lesson. This is so important. Get a small dry erase board, set up a schedule. Let's jump into Unit 1. Notice these are the sounds that you're going to be covering, and they all make the O sound. So this is O, in which normally we would say like the silent E, but this is how he writes it. O, 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 O. Here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to go through one unit, and I think I'm actually going to do like a unit that we just did because it kind of has some other stuff. So this is the unit that we just completed. So the sounds that we covered are all And I know this might seem really weird to you, but I'm going to show you when we get to the words why it is that way. Okay, so here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you the directions in the teacher guide, and then I'm going to show you the student guide and how it corresponds to that. The first thing is a spelling chain. This is what the workbook page looks like. And basically you give a word, you say a word, and then you say, for example, the first word is slimp. And then you say, change one sound in slimp to make flimp. And they have to manipulate the letters. So this is what their book looks like. Now, you can use, if you have like letter tiles like this, we've done that before where I get these specific letters out and she kind of moves them around, and that's a lot of fun. But if we're ever just kind of ready to go, this is a sheet protector. Because the book is sideways like this, I can just slip this sheet protector on and I give her a marker and she will just write. And so for this section, I would say slimp, and she would write. And I would say, change one sound in slimp to make flimp. And then so she would do this. And then one sound changes every time. Change one sound in flimp, and I'm literally just reading right here. Change one sound in flimp to make flisp. Flisp. Change one sound in flisp to make flist. So she would erase. And that's how that works. And so if you had letter tiles, you would just kind of manipulate them on the table. Okay, so that is the spelling chain. The next is the reading chain. I want to make it so you can see the teacher guide too. This is what her book looks like. And here's mine. Okay, tell her you will be doing a reading chain. It tells you exactly what to do. She just reads these words. They're a chain. A lot of them are nonsense words. I make sure and tell her that. one sound changes at a time. So she just goes down plank, prank, crank, clank. So this page is very quick for her. The next is a sound game. This is something separate that you print out. And let me get those out for you. Okay, this is the sound game. And I print these out. And there's actually like a little assessment to show you where to start, but it tells you what to do every time. This particular sound game it says write each of the first 5 words on a dry erase and have your student read the word. Then with the written word still visible, ask her to make the sound change. Do the task orally only for the last 5 items. So what I would do is I would write these and she would say it. Okay, so let me just show you. I'm just gonna write 2 words. So following it, I would say, read this word, and she would say hop. And then I say, now say hop, but instead of say t, and she says top. And if she can say it right away, I check it. And then we move on from there. And that's how this works. These sound games are really quick. Basically, she has to be able to respond right away. And if she doesn't, for a certain amount, and he kind of tells you how to score that, then we keep practicing this one. He has all different kinds. Some are no writing at all. Some are just writing. Like, for example, this is all orally. I tell her, say man. Now say man, but instead of say p, and she has to say pan. So this one we would need nothing. We just can say it. So this is what the sound games look like, and I had to print these off of the computer. I kind of really liked this. The first time we did it, it was really kind of a shock. Not in a bad way. It just really made her think. And I think that challenge was really good, and it really kind of made her aware of sounds. And so now she really has the hang of it and she can do it. So that's what the sound game is. So we've done 3 activities so far in Unit 1. All right, let's move on. The next page is where he introduces the sound. So the student workbook looks like this on the slide. And it tells you exactly what to say. All the words on this page have the sound Here are the ways to spell this sound. When I touch one, say So then we do Okay, super. Now please read all the words. So then she's supposed to read all of these on this page. Sometimes he has certain notes for the words. So these are just things that you can read over yourself, or he might give you the why behind something, like why he put that word there. All the things that you're supposed to say are in the bold print. So then once you get through these words, then you move to the next page and you take a look at your words and you say, okay, write the 5 ways to spell used in these words. So then she has to write them. This is a really quick page, and sometimes I wonder, why do we have to do that? But I'm just gonna trust the process. So it is good for her to think. You know, she kind of, like here, it's pointed out very obviously. So then when she sees, she kind of really has to glance at them and think, okay, what are they? What letters are working together? So I guess I can see the goodness of that. Okay, all right, let's move on. Reading words that end in ED. Okay, so this is Unit 5, and so he's teaching a little lesson on ED. And he will show, this is the script. You can see it's all scripted. And so we did this, and we read this word, and we added ED. And you can follow the script. It's jump. If I want to talk about jumping in the past, I change a word a little bit. I jumped rope yesterday. I jumped rope. So in programs that we've used before, a lot of times we say ED makes 3 different sounds: id, t, and d. And that's how we've learned it. But here he just makes it very much more straightforward. He doesn't go into all of that. Okay, so once we learned these words with the ED, then we went to this page, and this is reading sentences with ED words. Now, there's 5 sentences here. In the past, a lot of times sentences like this would frustrate her. When she has to read sentences in this book, she never really gets frustrated. I don't know if he's just picking very particular about the words that he's picking, or if because we're focusing on a certain group of words, that's what gives her so much confidence. But when she sees sentences like this, she just goes for it and she reads it. Whereas before, she was kind of really defeated in some of the other things that we've done. So she reads this with the different sounds. Okay. Now, obviously in another unit, it's not going to teach ED again. So this is kind of like a separate little lesson in the unit. I know I mentioned that the units have patterns and they kind of do the same thing, but this would be kind of unique to this unit. Okay. Now, this right here, we did that, breaking words apart. He does this in every unit. These are the 8 focus words of this unit. And he has very detailed instructions on how to do that. The first thing that I do is I read the word. This is come, and I tell her, tell me the sounds in come. And as she says it, I go like this, k, and sometimes we'll do it more than once, and I'll point it out that there's 3 sounds. Then I'll say, circle the k in come, and then she'll circle the c. Circle the in come, and she's supposed to circle it like this. Circle the and she circles. And then I have her spell it with orally, I have her spell it, and then I'm supposed to cover it up, and then she writes it. So this page takes some time because there's all these different steps. He even suggests saying things like, let me see if I can find an example. Like when you get to here, you would say like, spell the air in where, and he wants you to do it in a separate order. Like I said, I know that sounds confusing, but he says it all right here. Ask her questions about how particular sounds and combinations of sounds are spelled. Select the sounds in random order. Always end by having her spell the entire word out loud. And then after that, you're supposed to cover it, and then she writes it. So that is this page. This has been really helpful. Moving along. Here he has the answers, so if you're not sure, you can know exactly how he wants you to circle it. Okay, next, there are keywords and letter sound practice. So this is what we do here. It tells you exactly what to do. Read each word, then practice saying just the sound. So she goes, made, cow, show, play, out, goes through them all. Then she has to go through and say the sound of the underlined letters. So she'll say A, ow, O, A, O, and you get the point. Then we go down here and we say the sounds. This one here, he explains this. This one has 2 sounds sometimes, and so she will do that. But she has learned both sounds in different words. So that's important to point out. Once you go through all of this, she's supposed to write them, and usually she does. This one day she asked, can I just spell them to you? And I let her do that. So I gave her the word, and then she spelled it to me without looking. Next on this unit is reading rhymes, and it's spelled like this. It's not like, mat and sat rhyme. It's spelled like this, rhymes and nonsense words. So she reads these. These are the rhymes, just like groups of sounds, and then those are put into these nonsense words. So this is kind of just fun because some of the words are just crazy. So she enjoys that, and this is a pretty quick page. Okay, we're getting to the end. This is the word reading practice page. So these are the 8 words from this unit. So here are the words you've been studying, please read them. So she reads the 8 words, and then they're the same 8 words, just mixed up right here. And you can see they're in the 4 different lines. In the teacher book, review any words that she has to tap and say or doesn't read in 2 seconds or fewer. And then he teaches you how to review it. So they really have to be able to see it and know it well. Otherwise, you need to go back and do some things. And so he gives you some options here, but if you remember, there were some options in the front as well. So far we get to this page and she feels really confident. Maybe 1 or 2 words we'll have to do some reminders, but it's been going well so far. This kind of really shows you what they've learned. Okay. The last part in the student workbook is the sentence reading practice. So here's what it says in the teacher guide. Have your child read the sentence saying blank when she comes to the blank, and then select the word and write it. So the answers are here for you. This is the student book. So she says this, Tom blank, not very happy when he got home. And then she chooses the right word and writes it. Once again, in the past, sentences like this would be really overwhelming, but I don't even know how to explain it. She just doesn't care. She just knows. So I'm really happy about that. And all the words are the ones that she's been studying too. So I think maybe that's a little confidence boost as well. Okay, so this is actually the last page. There's 10 sentences. That is the last page in the student workbook. There's one more thing to finish the unit, and that is the reading. So if I flip this over, you'll see that the very last thing is reading the fable, and it tells you which one. Now, it says, give your child the booklet, open up to the shepherd and the wolf, read the story out loud to your child. So it actually wants you to read it first. Have your child read the fable out loud on her own. Have your child read the fable or parts of the fable again in future lessons until she can read it easily. So these are what the fables look like. They're really cute. She loves the little lessons that come with them. I think reading it to her is another just confidence boost. At first, I wasn't sure, like I felt like it was cheating, but honestly, like this is her favorite part. And if her favorite part is reading, then we're obviously doing something right, because in the past, we've had a lot of frustration with reading. I think that I'm just going to keep doing that and keep reading it to her. I also like, she hears me. Once we read it and talk about it, it really allows her to like take in the story. She tends to ask a lot of questions, and it interrupts her reading. And so when we read it and go through it and we talk about it first, it's almost like we've moved past that and she can just focus on the words and read it. So this has been really nice. So these go, you read one for each unit. That was a lot. I hope it was helpful to see all of that. The thing is, it seems a little bit like a lot of pieces, but once you do it, then it becomes a habit. All the units look very much the same. So it took us maybe 2 or 3 units, and now I feel really confident going in and knowing what we're doing. So that has been a real plus, having that pattern. My only complaint with this is there are a lot of online resources that they provide, the flashcards, the fluency tests, the sound game, and he does in his unit say when to do the sound game, and so I'm thankful for that, but there is no real clear direction about the flashcards or the fluency checks. When you read the directions that come with it, like once you download it, it says daily practice. So I think he means every day, but it's not really in the unit. So you kind of have to fit it in how you want to do it. So I usually set a goal to work on fluency check twice in the week. And the flashcards, I usually will try to do 2 to 3 times a week too, because after a while, I don't want her to be bored by them. We kind of mix the flashcards up. Sometimes I'll hide them. Sometimes I'll just do it like regular flashcards and sew them. Sometimes I'll just put them on the floor and say, okay, walk and pick them up and read them. I wish it was kind of a little more direct about when to do it, but I think we've found a good rhythm. This is what a fluency practice test looks like. We will usually just practice until she feels really comfortable, and then once she's comfortable, I'll set a timer. I usually wait till I know she's probably going to get it, because she's really not a fan of time tests. But he does provide a chart for you to record the progress that she's making. And so this is, you can write the list and how many words they read in 60 seconds. That's what you're supposed to do. So this is what a fluency test. And notice you'll see there's these words, there's 8 words in a line, but it's the same 8 words in the line, just mixed up in a different order. The other thing I want to show you is the flashcards. I printed these off. They come like this. It tells you what unit you learn them in. And then I cut them out and I keep them clipped to my book right here. And we try to review them 2 or 3 times a week. So my goal for this is to finish this whole level B1. And once I do that, then I will kind of reevaluate if we want to continue with it or if we want to try something different. Right now, I feel really good about it. I feel like her attitude has changed about reading, and I feel like she's recognizing certain things that she didn't used to before. And I also see a desire in her. I don't know is it just coincidentally that developmentally her age, now suddenly she has a desire? Or is it like you can't, I mean, it was exactly at the same time that we started this. So, I mean, like we'll go to the library and she'll get books and she's starting to try and read more books. And she's reading words, you know, a lot more out in public and things like that on the TV screen, if there's something on the TV screen. So I see a lot more in her trying to want to read. And I don't know, I'm not sure that's just coincidence. I feel like this has probably given her a little bit of a boost. The way that you practice these, you're breaking apart these words so much and you're working with them in such detail. By the time that you get to the story and the sentences, there's this confidence, like I know this. And I think that's really helped her. So we will aim to finish B1. Unfortunately, we're not going to finish before the school year. And I haven't decided what I'm going to do for summer. I'm going to have to pray about that. Maybe I'll do it once a week. I don't know. I'm still thinking on that. But I do have a goal to finish this whole level. So I hope seeing it that close really can give you an idea of what it is. I really just enjoy learning about curriculum. I love seeing the different approaches. Sometimes it will just inspire me to maybe change something up. It doesn't mean I necessarily have to buy the curriculum, but it might give me an idea. So that's always my goal here, is to inspire you guys, help you guys out, to really give you a good look at what this is, since it was kind of tough to find some information online. So I hope it was helpful.